Good day to you. Today in this video, we're just going to show you real quick how to grab a screenshot of the graph you'll need for this activity using the virtual tensile tester under activity 2.3.2 on the POE LMS PLTW curriculum. So I have this activity up here. I also have the introduction I wrote on the wiki page for you, so you know what you're doing for this activity. You're going to download the Word document. The Word document is of the activity itself. Just note that the link to the tensile tester is still only on this page. It is not in the Word document. You will have to use the same graph for all the calculations you'll do, and you just have to crop the graph. And that's what I'm going to show you in this video, is how to get that graph, take a screenshot of it, and also to crop it so you can only have the graph that you need for this activity. So we're not going to cover the specifics about what's on the graph, just a matter of just going to get that graph. So if we scroll down on the activity and we go to the virtual tensometer, the virtual tensometer is a free program. It's really just an online app, and we open it up like this, and it gives us a couple of specimens that we can use, and we can grab any of these particular specimens and put it in the tensile test, and we can hit the start button and it will give us a graph. Now, because we're using uniform length and thickness here, we can use the load, we can use the extension, we can kind of use that information and get stress and strain out of it, and we're going to have, obviously since it's virtual, we're not going to have any variability with dimensions there, so that's not a big deal. The only sample you can't use for this activity is the cast iron, and the reason you can't use the cast iron is because if we run it under a tensile test, it will fracture before it even gets to anything resembling the graphs we talked about in class. That's completely understandable. Cast iron's a very rigid material. It's very, very not ductile at all, really, so that's why we don't get a graph like that. However, if we take the aluminum, take the aluminum sample, and we drag that in, and we hit start, we'll get that under a tensile test. It will yield, and it will fracture, and we get a graph that's usable for this activity. So once we do that, once we have that graph, all we have to do is take a screenshot of the of the whole image. And to do that, one thing you may not realize is you have a button on your keyboard that allows you to take a screenshot of your computer screen. And that's the print screen button, or in some cases it might be shortened to PRTSC. It also might be an alternate key, so you may have to say hold down the function key and then press like home or another key that has the PRTSC as available under the function menu. You also may have a dedicated print screen button depending on your keyboard. So no matter what though, hit that button and then you'll be able to copy the screen. This is the screen you want anyway because it's got your graph onto the clipboard. Now, what do you do with that? That means that once it's on the clipboard, you can then go to a program like Paint, which is free. You have it just by having Windows on there. You can go to Paint, and then you'll have the option of pasting that entire screen onto the clipboard. So all you have to do is, once you paste it on there, you just got to get the graph, because all you really need on there is the graph. Okay. So if we go to Select, and we hit the Select button here, we could draw a box around the graph that we need, which is this one right here, Draw a box around it. And then once we have that box around there, we just go to the crop button, and it takes it and it puts just the graph that we need onto the screen, And then from there, we can save it, We can go ahead and store that as our images. We can hit it with the aluminum graph if we want, And then just hit that. And then we can also copy that graph, If we go to Select All, and we can copy that graph, and then we can go into the actual Word document, which I don't have the actual activity open right now, but you can copy that particular graph, and then you can paste it into the relevant sections on the assignment. I can show you where that goes. Here's the activity, So there's different areas where you'll have to insert your graph. So the graph would go here. You could insert that. You could put that graph here. You could put the graph here, and then you'll be able to calculate all this information about the sample, You're able to calculate all this information, and you'll have to do that. So, some of the stuff that at this point we haven't quite done yet. We didn't do the toughness and the resilience just yet. We did define resilience, but we haven't talked about the modulus just yet. But we'll get to that. Regardless, though, that's how you do the screenshot, and that's it. Have a nice day.